Welcome to today's news on TV9. I'm Ada Cho. In today's local news, former boxer Mike Tyson's visa application to enter New Zealand has been cancelled, while a National Arts Award ceremony was held in Auckland yesterday, celebrating our pride in New Zealand arts. The inaugural China Business Summit was held at Auckland yesterday, with a tagline saying, "It's time to act." A lineup of speakers challenged New Zealand businesses to take up opportunities in China. Christy Zhao reports.
China is on its way to becoming the world's largest economy by 2020, and it's already New Zealand's second largest trading partner. But there is scope for far more benefit for Kiwi businesses, and that's why the inaugural China Business Summit was held in Auckland yesterday, calling for more action to engage with the China market. Prime Minister John Key opened the summit with personal anecdotes of his times in the Middle Kingdom, and he told a room full of business leaders that it's up to them to take the plunge, because with or without New Zealand, China is growing.
The trend is your friend, and the trend is that China and Asia in general is going to grow rapidly, and we can have a big slice of that action relative to the size of the New Zealand economy if we want to be.
The CEOs of Fonterra and Main Freight were among the speakers, who both shared stories of their company's journeys getting established in China. Meanwhile, local authorities also wanted a slice of the pie, saying China is potentially a major player in building city infrastructures.
This is the Chinese century, and this is a critical time for New Zealand to be looking far more actively at how it can engage with what will soon be the world's largest economy. And in particular, we need to look at how Auckland and its infrastructure needs can be met by engagement with investors and other partners from China to help us build the kind of internet that we need.
The summit provided an opportunity for businesses looking to go into China to network with each other. As the Prime Minister has said, in 20 years' time, the same summit will likely require a much bigger room as the China relationship grows even deeper. Christy Zhao, 9 News.
Scandal inside Immigration New Zealand. Amy Shin reports.
Earlier claims of Chinese overstayers are confirmed as 16 students are deported back to China. And Immigration New Zealand staff also quit due to connections with the investigation. A recent audit on student visas processed through Immigration New Zealand's Beijing office revealed that 279 visa applications were based on false bank statements and qualifications. Of the students already in the country, 60 overstayed their visas. Approximately 25,000 student visa applications are received each year from China alone. Amy Chen, 9 News.
Former boxing champion and convicted rapist Mike Tyson has been revoked of his visa into New Zealand. The Prime Minister denies putting pressure on the immigration process. Christy Zhao reports.
Former heavyweight boxing champion Mike Tyson was due to speak at a special event in Auckland in November after being granted special permission to enter the country. But the decision by Immigration New Zealand was never without controversy, and yesterday Associate Immigration Minister Kate Wilkinson revoked Tyson's visa on the grounds that the Life Education Trust, a benefactor from the visit, withdrew its letter of support. The news made headlines around the world, but Prime Minister John Key, who earlier this week disapproved of the visit, denies throwing his weight around.
I didn't apply any pressure on her to come to New Zealand. That's a decision for her, but I think she's made the right decision on the basis of the fact that the Life Education Trust has withdrawn their support.
The letter of support from Life Education Trust had been a significant factor in approving Tyson's application, but the trust says it was never behind the visit, and the letter was only sent to immigration by one of the trustees without its knowledge.
We were approached by the promoter in the middle of August. We made a very clear decision that we wouldn't support it and didn't want to be part of it, and we communicated that to the promoter on the 24th of August, and so as far as we were concerned, that was it.
The trust wouldn't be drawn on whether it thinks Tyson, a convicted rapist who served 3 of his 6-year sentence in the 90s, is a danger to New Zealand. Tyson was scheduled to give a motivational speech to an audience willing to pay up to $395 for a ticket. The promoter of the event says they will fight for Tyson's visa reissued. Christy Zhao, 9 News.
Niwa and Landcare Research are leading a 4-year project which aims to climate-proof New Zealand by looking at what we could see happening in the next 90 years. The new multi-million-dollar research is set to give a better understanding of potential climate change trends in New Zealand. The Macquarie Private's Wealth New Zealand Arts Award is an occasion for New Zealanders to focus on the achievements of some of our most talented artists. Over $400,000 were awarded to 9 artists this year. Amy Fong reports.
The Arts Foundation is a private philanthropic organisation and it aims to fund and support New Zealand's finest artists to create more work. The 9 artists who have received the monetary awards were selected by the community.
You get to choose who the artists are. None of the artists know that they're being considered. Those artists are chosen. I get to find out who they are, and then I ring them all up and offer them the awards.
Simon Bowden believes that the level of artistic talent in this country is undeniable, but the financial burden of pursuing a creative career is challenging.
Okay, so it's a recognition of their achievements to date, but it's also an investment in their future. The Arts Foundation Awards are based on trust, so we get people from the arts community to select the artists, and we trust those people to make the right choices. And then we say to the artists who receive the awards, this is an investment in you, but you don't have to write a report, you don't have to spend the money on anything particular, you can do whatever you want with it. We trust that you will carry on being an artist. So some people use it to help with their mortgage or stabilise their personal situation, and other people invest it directly in work.
The New Generation Awards recipient Cameron McMillan was born in New Zealand and is now based in London. He has been described by the UK Observer as one of the most compelling and intelligent dancers on the world stage, and he is thankful to the generosity of sponsors of the Arts Foundation.
It's an amazing recognition. I think in any art form we work for our passion. We do it because we love it, and to be recognised for it and to be given a very generous award to support us, enable us to do this is so lovely and so amazing. It gives you a vote of confidence.
Since its inception 11 years ago, the Arts Foundation has recognized 141 artists and donated over $4 million to the arts. Amy Feng, 9 News.
Nearly 100 people have norovirus after being exposed to the bug at Middlemore Hospital. 45 patients and 45 staffs have been affected. Anyone visiting the South Auckland Hospital is asked to be symptom-free for at least 2 days. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and the world is coloured pink to get people, especially young women, more educated about the risks of breast cancer. Christy Jai has more.
More than 2,800 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer this year in New Zealand, and 370 of them will be in the 20 to 44 age group. That's 1 young woman a day, but according to the latest research, New Zealand young women are largely unaware of the risks of breast cancer, with 2/3 of respondents not knowing that breast cancer is the most common cancer for women their age, while most women in their early 40s have never had a mammogram.
They think it's cervical cancer, and whilst we have cervical screening from when we're very young, from 20 years of age, our young women don't know what they need to do about being breast aware and looking after themselves in terms of their breast health.
To mark October as the International Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the New Zealand Breast Cancer Foundation has launched a celebrity-filled campaign to spread the message, encouraging women of all ages to be vigilant about risk reduction. Chief Executive Van Henderson explained certain signs and symptoms that need to be looked out for.
If you have an unusual pain, if you have an inverted nipple or a discharge, or if you're having some dimpling of the skin, or obviously a lump, which is a hard pea sort of lump. So all of those things are signs and symptoms of breast cancer, and very, very important, especially for young women, if they have anything like that, to go and see their doctor immediately.
As well as the Our Woman campaign, the foundation is also selling pink ribbons, pink shoelaces and pink tire caps to help with fundraising. It also has an interactive e-learning module on its website for self-education. Christy Zhao, 9 News.
Yesterday was the official opening of Tegel Chicken's 20 million new production line, and the new processing line will be creating over 300 new jobs throughout New Zealand. Amy Fung has more.
Prime Minister John Key was warmly welcomed to Tego's processing line's official opening yesterday, and Chief Executive of Tego, Andrew Stevens, was delighted about the opening.
Oh, I think it's been great. It was a pleasure for the Prime Minister to turn up and to have so many of our customers here to enjoy it with us.
Andrew Stevens said, New Zealand's biosecurity controls and food safety regulations have earned us a reputation for producing the world's safest chicken, and that in turn has boosted orders globally for Tego products. As the demand for New Zealand chicken continues to increase in New Zealand and across international markets, Tego has invested $20 million in a value-added processing line to support this growth.
Already this line has been built for the export market predominantly. We're doing a lot of business into Australia now and starting up into Japan and into Asia, so this is really to supply that market.
Tego has about 2,000 employees across New Zealand, and this new line will create an additional 300 jobs.
Well, there's a wide variety of jobs, all the way from the salespeople that are having to travel overseas to find the new customers, through to the food technologists and food safety people on the line, and there's a fair bit of processing workers too. But there's jobs throughout our business, whether it's the truck drivers bringing the product here or the health and safety people.
350 tons of chicken will be processed each week in the Henderson plant, and international sales are predicted to exceed $100 million in the next 12 months. Amy Feng, 9 News.
Now we have a TV9 host from Asia Focus, Julie Nixon, to comment on Asian eateries becoming mainstream.
More New Zealanders are eating Asian food than ever before, according to a Massey University report. Chinese, Japanese, Thai, Indian, Vietnamese, Middle Eastern and Indonesian cuisine used to be a novelty for Kiwis, but now it's mainstream fare, especially in the cities. Chinese have been in New Zealand since the gold rushes, but Chinese food, whether consumed in a restaurant, as a takeaway or in the home, only started getting a foothold in New Zealand after the Second World War. But it wasn't until the 1960s that it started growing in popularity. In those days it was the norm that Asian food was adapted for Western tastes. But those days are long gone. Today in Auckland and in other cities you'll find that Asian restaurants cook Asian style dishes whenever possible in the same way as they would be in Asia. According to Paul Spoonley, who's the author of the Massey report, Asian restaurants, Asian food courts, Asian supermarkets, weekend and night markets and food sold at Asian festivals have changed how and what Kiwis eat. Professor Spoonley says the plethora of Asian cuisine now available is largely a result of Asian immigration, which has completely transformed the country's food landscape. Whereas in the 1960s Kiwis demanded mild curries or chop sueys to suit their tastes, these days they are looking for genuine Asian cuisine. They're open to new tastes and new dishes and even search out restaurants with an Asian atmosphere. The recipes that were brought to New Zealand by the British back in the 19th and 20th centuries is no longer standard fare in many New Zealand households. An Asian New Zealand Foundation search found that by 2007 there were about 400 identifiable Asian restaurants and food outlets in Auckland, more than double the number in 1997. And Professor Spoonley says the quality of Asian food on offer is similar to what is on offer in Asia. Ethnic food varieties such as chicken feet and duck's head might still be a step too far for many people, but there's now a general recognition that Asian food is not only tasty, it's also good for you.
Thank you, Julian. Now let's take a short break and we'll be back shortly.